For a long, long time, the story of artificial intelligence, well, it's been written pretty much exclusively in Silicon Valley. But back in February 2026, a brand new chapter was unveiled, this time in New Delhi. And honestly, it wasn't just a new chapter, it felt like a completely different book. So let's break down exactly what went down.
This right here, this quote from a veteran tech reporter who was on the ground at the India AI Impact Summit, it just says it all. This was so much more than another tech conference. It was a statement, a full-throated declaration that India wasn't just trying to keep up in the AI race anymore. Nope, it was setting its own pace.
And that's the real question, isn't it? I mean, what actually happens when one of the biggest nations on Earth decides to build its own AI future, from the ground up, for its own people, in its own languages? Well, the answers are nothing short of a game changer. Okay, so to really get the sheer scale of what happened here, you first have to understand the massive problem India was trying to solve. And it is a big one. Just think about it for a second. The AIs we all use, ChatGPT, Gemini, they're incredible, but they were trained almost entirely on English data from the internet. They just don't get the nuances of India's 22 official languages, let alone the unique cultural context or the real on-the-ground challenges people face. For AI to truly work for India, it had to speak Indian. And that is precisely what they did. They didn't just build apps on top of someone else's tech. No, they went right to the core, the foundational AI models themselves. India decided it was time to build its own digital brains, trained on its own data for its own people. At its heart, the concept is pretty simple. A language model is just an AI that's learned from a mind-boggling amount of information. The more it reads, the smarter it gets. So the really important question India asked was, what if that library wasn't just English books, but included, well, everything ever written in Hindi, Tamil, Bengali, and every other Indian language? And that is the answer. This number, it absolutely rocked the summit. Sarvam AI, a startup from Bengaluru, pulled the curtain back on Sarvam 105B. That's a model with 105 billion parameters. You can think of parameters as like individual brain cells. This is, without a doubt, the largest, most powerful AI brain ever built by an Indian organization. And this is what really shows that leapfrog moment. This isn't just about catching up to the West. This is about competing at the very highest level. A sovereign AI, built here, owned here, and designed to solve Indian problems first. That, right there, is a fundamental shift in the global tech power balance. And if you were looking for proof, well, here you go. Just look at this. This chart shows a global test measuring how well AI can read and understand documents. And check out that result. Sarvam Vision, an Indian model, scored 84.3%, blowing past Google's Gemini and OpenAI's ChatGPT. I mean, an Indian startup just beat the biggest names on the planet at reading complex Indian documents. Just let that sink in for a minute. And it wasn't just Sarvam. Oh no. The floodgates just opened. We saw Bulbul, an AI that can dub content into any Indian language. Then came Indus, a direct competitor to ChatGPT but multilingual from the start. The government unveiled Param 2, a foundational model for all 22 scheduled languages. And then there was Vachana TTS, a tech that can clone your voice in Tamil from just a 10-second clip. The sheer pace of innovation was just breathtaking. Okay, but look. These powerful AI brains are totally useless if they just stay locked up in a lab, right? So the next huge wave of announcements was all about taking this incredible AI and putting it into the real world, into products you can actually see and touch and use. So meet the Sarvam Kaze smart glasses. These are basically India's answer to Meta's Ray-Bans. They've got a built-in camera and mic, but here's the kicker. They're powered by Sarvam's own AI. This means you can be walking down the street, and these glasses can translate a sign for you, identify a historic building, or just answer a question in real time. This isn't science fiction anymore. This is a product that's ready to go. And then came this incredible moment of symbolic power. The very first person to try on these glasses in public was India's Prime Minister. This single image sent a crystal clear message to the entire world. India is no longer just consuming the next generation of technology, it is building it right at the highest levels. Now let's look at how this tech gets even more impactful. Imagine a smart mirror in a clinic in a remote village. You just stand in front of it, it scans you, and then you have a conversation with an AI doctor in your local dialect. And in just a few minutes, you get a health assessment. For millions of people in areas with no doctors, this isn't just a cool gadget. It could literally be life-saving.
And the technology was also aimed squarely at India's agricultural backbone. The dairy giant Amul launched Sarvam, an AI assistant, for its 3.6 million dairy farmers, giving advice on cattle health in local languages. And then there's Bharat Vistar, which gives all farmers real-time data on weather and market prices. See, this is AI designed not for boardrooms, but for barnyards.
Okay, so you've got all these amazing new cars, the AI models, the apps, but they all need a highway to run on. And that was the final massive piece of the puzzle. The government's plan for a sovereign digital infrastructure to power this entire ecosystem. They're calling it the India AI Stack. And the easiest way to think about it is like a building. The foundation? That's pure computing power. Over 58,000 GPUs, those special chips that are the engines of AI. The ground floor is a huge national library of Indian data. The middle floors are where the AI models like Parm 2 live, and the upper floors are all the apps we just saw for health, farming, and so on. This whole thing is basically digital independence for the AI age. It means India won't have to rely on foreign tech for its core needs. The data, the models, the computing power, it's all controlled right here, at home.
So when you put all of these pieces together, the foundational models, the real-world products, and this sovereign infrastructure, a whole new picture starts to emerge. It's clear that a monumental shift has just taken place.
And this really brings us to the bottom line. India's entire role in the world of technology has fundamentally changed. For decades, it was a world-class service provider and a massive consumer of tech. Today, it has announced its arrival as a world-class product builder and a creator of core AI technology. You know, this final quote from the AiFusion9 report just says it all, doesn't it? This summit was a clear declaration that India's AI future will be built by Indians, for Indians, and, most importantly, in the incredible, beautiful diversity of all of India's voices.
It's a truly powerful transformation. For so many years, the world built technology and basically asked India to adapt to it. Now India is building technology that reflects its own reality, and in doing so, it's creating a blueprint for countless other nations. And it leaves us with a really fascinating question for the next decade. The future of AI is no longer a monologue in English. It's a global conversation in hundreds of languages. The only question left is the rest of the world ready to listen?